This is the Pixel 8 and the iPhone 15, the latest flagships for 2023 from Google and Apple. And while they don't really carry the Pro labels like the options above them, these might actually be the better phones, or at least the better choice for a lot of people. It might not have the Pro features like an extra camera lens or a bigger battery or a bigger screen. What they get right is far more important. So in this video, I want to dig into the details with these phones, what is new this year, what's good, what's bad, and touch on a few things that I did not expect that you might not even know. So if you're interested in the iPhone 15 or the Pixel 8, or maybe you're thinking of buying one of these or you can't really decide, stick around and let's find out the best choice for you. Hey guys, KJOS here, and I've had a blast using both the Pixel 8 and the iPhone 15 simultaneously. Now whoever said these two ecosystems can't coexist clearly lied. However, I do find myself wishing Google adopted a few things from Apple and Apple doing the exact same thing. Let's take a look at the design, for example. The Pixel 8 is 6.2 inches tall with a flat display and an aluminum build that feels very comfortable in the hand even when you're using it without a case. The flat display makes scrolling through the phone very easy and without your hands cramping every couple of minutes. Where the Pixel 8 sort of dropped the ball is the back of the phone. So you see, the iPhone 15 and the Pixel 8 both have a glass back, but Apple did things very differently. Instead of having a glossy finish like the Pixel, they instead coated the back of the phone with a matte finish, giving your hands a more relaxed feel when holding the phone. Obviously, different strokes for different folks, and some may not even care, but if you're spending your hard-earned money on a phone for the next 3 to 4 years, you do want to make sure your phone feels comfortable in your hand. The feeling is almost night and day. And when it comes to the weight, the iPhone 15 is 16 grams lighter than the Pixel 8, but I can tell you for free, you can't really tell the difference. Both phones have a USB-C port, which makes using them very easy because I can use one cord to charge my phone or even transfer my files and other things. One thing the Pixel 8 has over the iPhone is better stereo speakers. I don't know, I think Google worked on their speakers this year because just like the 8 Pro, the speakers here are pretty good. It's loud, the bass is pretty good and does not get distorted as the volume increases. I'm very happy with my experience. Also, it goes without saying that these are two of the best colors to buy with these phones. The black iPhone 15 is just more aesthetically pleasing than the other muted colors in their lineup, and the rose color on the Pixel 8 just stands out. Trust me, you'll be surprised how many people have asked me about this phone just by the color alone. So who won this round? And it's hard to say because design, like I always say, is very subjective. And just because I like one design doesn't mean the other design is bad. That being said, I prefer the design of the Pixel 8. The flat display, the rounded corners, plus the color choices this year far exceed what Apple did with the iPhone 15. Flipping over to the front, we arguably have the most important aspect of the phones, and that is the display. I mean, it's what you look at every day, and there are big changes on the Pixel 8. Google is calling their display on the Pixel 8 an actual display. It is essentially an OLED panel with a variable refresh rate that can switch from 60 to 120 Hz. But for some reason, the Pixel 8 only ships with 60 Hz on, so you need to turn that on to get the full range of your display. A huge upgrade here is the display can go up to 1400 nits when watching HDR content and 2000 nits of peak brightness. The Pixel 7 got up to 1400 nits of peak brightness, so trust me when I tell you this is great for the average consumer. In contrast, the iPhone 15 does get as high as 2000 nits, but there are two key differences between these two phones that you should know. The first is, it is a 60Hz screen, and there is also the lack of an always-on display. When you are using the Pixel 8 that has a 120Hz, and then an iPhone 15 that only has 60Hz, the difference in smoothness and usability is quite jarring. Granted, most might not care about it like a lot of people want you to believe, but the Pixel 8 gives the best scrolling experience. And that can also be said about the lack of an always-on display. Half the time when I'm working and I need to know the time or why my phone was vibrating, I just have to glance at the Pixel and I can see that. With the iPhone, you either need to pick up the phone or tap your screen each time. And of course, if you're using the iPhone 15 in isolation, then you will get used to this. But using it side by side with the Pixel, it was an annoyance that happened time and time again. Regardless of the iPhone 15 lacking all these features, it is still a great display. Colors are accurate, and if we're keeping it 100, I don't think any phone company right now makes bad displays. They're all great. That being said though, the Pixel 8 will take this front because of the higher refresh rate and the always-on display, and of course, the brightness. So a positive side of not having a high refresh rate or an always-on display is the battery life. I comfortably get 8 hours of screen on time out of the iPhone 15, and the only time I had sort of a battery drain was when using the cameras, and that can easily be said about the Pixel 8 too, which gives me about 6-7 hours, which is actually pretty good battery life if I'm being honest. I don't play mobile games, never have and never will, but I can say both phones will run smoothly without throttling or any severe battery drain. However, if you do want the longest use of your smartphone, then the iPhone 15 is the way to go. Okay, the next category here has a lot of debates, and it has to do with the software and the performance. The Google Pixel 8 is powered by the new Tensor G3 chip that is responsible for a lot of the AI features within the phone. More than anything, the Tensor G3 is not going to outpace the A16 Bionic chip in raw power, but in terms of everyday use, I can say there isn't much of a difference. Also, added to the fact that the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro will not have an inbuilt VPN, something nobody else is doing. The Pixel 8 is buttery smooth thanks to Google's software that complements the Tensor G3. Apps open on time, RAM management is also pretty good, and what the Pixel 8 lacks in power, it gains in software and AI features. Unfortunately, the Pixel 8 is going to miss out on a couple of AI features, but there are some here that still make it worth your while. Magic Editor is here. It is a generative AI tool that changes small or large details of your pictures, and you can move objects around, change the color of the sky, and many more. I personally have had fun with Magic Editor, and I think most people will too. With all this, Google is promising 7 years of software and security updates. With the iPhone 15, it has the A16, which is last year's chip, but performance has been sturdy and consistent. It might not have those AI features from the Pixel 8, but what it lacks in its unique features, it gains with its own ecosystem, which is undefeated at the moment. This feels like iOS versus Android, and picking a winner would be ridiculous because they both have features that are unique to their own ecosystem. So I would give this round a tie. And finally, the most important category on this list, the cameras. The iPhone 15 and the Pixel 8 have dual cameras, but regardless of whatever megapixels they have, this category is the most divisive amongst my viewers, and for good reason. The Pixel 8 has real tone, which means it will get my exact skin color, and I think it nails it with each shot, but with the iPhone 15, it reduces the shadows, makes my skin darker than it should be, and I then get comments saying the iPhone is better, and I'm not sure why. Personally, I'll take the Pixel's image processing every other day. And from the main sensor, the iPhone 15 is just much more vibrant and adds more color than the Pixel 8. Both have great detail, and I think this all comes down to preference and how it looks and how you feel. There is a lack of a telephoto lens on both of these phones, but when you put it in portrait mode, it does the job pretty well. Ultra wide is also great. The iPhone gathers much more detail with the shots, but if we're being honest, they both have a good ultra wide camera. And with video recording, this is really a no-brainer. The iPhone 15 shoots better video than the Pixel 8, and that hasn't changed so far in the last few years. However, if this was the iPhone 15 Pro versus the Pixel 8 Pro, it'll be a different story entirely, as I feel Google did a better job on the Pixel 8 Pro than the Pixel 8. With all that being said, which phone offers the best value? The Pixel 8 is priced at $699, while the iPhone 15 is $829 if you're not buying it with a carrier, and that is a $130 difference. And from my experience, the Pixel 8 does offer better value. It has a better display, better features, arguably a better picture-taking camera, and of course, it is cheaper than the iPhone 15. Value does differ though. Of course, if you're in the Apple ecosystem, then getting the iPhone just makes a lot of sense. On the other hand, if you're in neither and you're looking for a phone to give you more for less, the Pixel 8 is the way to go. But that is just one man's opinion. What do you guys think? Is the iPhone 15 the better valued phone, or is the Pixel 8 the best budget phone in 2023? Comment down and let me know. As always, if you found this video useful, smash that like button and subscribe, as this goes a long way for me. Thank you guys for watching. My name is KJOS, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.